Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Alive and Streaming. I want to welcome all the Alive and Streamers. I got my bro here, Will Carroll. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing good. How are you, Ted? How you doing?
Good. Just enjoying the Saturday. We've been pretty busy, dude. I mean, the last Alive and Streaming was 3 weeks ago. And we had the Cracker Brothers on. They did a very interesting and cool version of our song Lost. And they actually challenged me and you to cover one of their songs. And that's what we've been doing for the past 3 weeks. Me and Will have been going back and forth trying to figure out how we're going to attack this tune. But for some of you out there who haven't seen the original, I know I posted a link to check out the original tune, but we're gonna play video before into it here, just so everyone knows the song. And after we play the original, we'll come back, maybe bring the Cracker Brothers in, and we'll play you our version of the song, me and Will. So let me get going here while I'm gonna share my screen with everyone, and we're gonna play the Cracker Brothers tune. Give me a minute here. Man, goddamn, here we go. Here it is. Did I share my screen with everyone? Hold on a minute. Oh, technology. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Everyone, here's the Cracker Brothers tune.
All right, we're gonna go back to these guys who've been keeping us awake all night. Once again, would you please welcome those Vindicators?
Thank you very much. Is this thing on? Okay. First of all, we'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. We'd like to continue tonight by playing a song by one of the best bands in the world, and certainly one of our favorites, the Cracker Brothers. Here's their chart-topping hit from back in the day, The Only One.
As a matter of fact, you didn't have to do that Tuesday night. When you were walking away, did you want her to say you were right? How does it feel when it finally turned into a fight? Or did you finally turn on the charm when she turned off the lights? Doesn't matter that much, she wasn't keeping in touch anyway. 'Cause if the phone doesn't ring, maybe there's not anything left to say. And if she's already left, there's no reason to ask her to stay. You end up at the end of your rope at the end of the day. You keep it inside for so long. And when you finally spoke up and said it was broke, were you wrong? And what did you do when you knew that you didn't belong? Or were you suddenly very aware that you knew all along? Who knows that the game has already been won? Are we so eager to try to impress, underprepared
What'd you think of that video?
What was that? Fucking Star Search?
All right, and we got the Cracker Brothers gonna come in. Eric and Scott.
I think
There's Eric.
Hey,
How are you?
Things are good. How are you guys doing?
All right, all right. You know, I mean,
Hey guys,
how you doing, Scott?
good. How are you?
Good, good. And it's, you know, I'm just a bit nervous here on my end because me and Will decided to take the challenge and cover your tune. And Will, what'd you think of the tune?
Very catchy. I like it. I don't normally listen to that kind of music, whatever kind of music you would consider that. But it's very catchy tune. It was stuck in my head after the first time I heard it, so it was fun to record it.
Yeah, that was a good thing. Yeah, me and Will were going back and forth like, how are we gonna do this? You know, we can't out pop you. We're not pop dudes.
Totally.
So we came up with it and we recorded it, and we had a very special friend of ours, Matt Freeman from Rancid, who laid down the bass.
That's pretty
So
special.
everyone knows. Yeah, it's a pretty special thing. And Will, it's actually your first recording of doing some pretty heavy stuff since COVID, right?
Yeah. I was a little nervous. You know, I haven't practiced to a click track or anything since I've been sick. So I was kind of nervous how I was going to be able to, how I would get through the song without fucking up too much and retracking over and over again. And I think it came out pretty good. I felt good. It definitely was a confidence booster. It's only a 2-minute song, so it wasn't like pulling off Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner or something. But
You'd be surprised what I can do in under a minute, Will.
Yeah, ask his wife. Yeah.
It felt good to track again, and yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I'm happy with it too. I thought you killed it, man. I thought fucking it was fun to see you play. It's metal, but the way we did it was pretty rocking and intense, and it felt good to see you play like that again. You know, ever since coming back from COVID, and it also reminded me too of me and you being in your garage back in 87, 88.
Absolutely. When we recorded our first demo by our first band, Armament, the demo only saw 25 copies of it made. So there's 25 people out there who may or may not still have that demo. But
You being
yeah,
one of them.
yeah. But it definitely reminded me of those times as well. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it reminded me of those times, but with better equipment. And you know,
better ability.
better abilities, and you know, and I haven't sang lead vocal and on a whole song like that since me and Will did our last band together in '95, which was Brood, which was a thrash project. So it was good. It was fun. I had a lot of fun with Will, and you know, I want to do a shout out to Matt for laying down the bass, Matt from Rancid, and two more before I play the video. Me and Will's video. I want to do a shout out once again to Matt from Rancid, Jim Stern from Earful Recording who mastered the recording, and Will's brother Jim Carroll for helping me decipher the chords in that song. So a shout out to Jim Carroll.
I'm sure that was a cozy 15 seconds.
Oh man, it was amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, before we get to the video, I want to tell a little story. When me and Will first hooked up at a studio to jam the song, Will's brother Jim was there. And I was like, Jim, what chords are these? And as soon as we played him the song, he already knew, oh, that's D, A, G. Oh, it goes into a B right here. And from there on, I go, thank you, Jim. That's going to make it a lot easier. So Jim Carroll, thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
He's definitely good for that, for sure.
Oh, definitely good. Great musician, great guy. So without further ado, this is me and Will's version of the Cracker Brothers, the only one, and we did a video on it. I'd like to thank my lovely wife Trisha, who made the video yesterday in one day. So here you go. To all you Alive and streamers out there, I hope you dig Mean Will's version of The Only One. So I'm gonna play it for you right now after I hold on a minute. Look at that technology, man. Technology is just a pain in the ass. Hold on a minute. I'm stuck on this YouTube. Ah, there we go. There we go. All right. You guys ready? Is everyone ready?
Good.
I'm ready.
All right. All right. Let me see what I can do. Jesus Christ. Share my screen. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Mean Will's version of the Cracker Brothers, The Only One.
Well, as a matter of fact, you didn't have to do that Tuesday night. When you were walking away, did you want her to say you were right? And how does it feel when it finally turned into a fight? Or did you finally turn on the charm when she turned off the light? Doesn't matter that much, she wasn't keeping in touch anyway. Cause if the phone doesn't ring, maybe there's not anything left to say. And if she's already left, there's no reason to ask her to stay. You end up at the end of your rope at the end of the day. And when you're the only one who knows how the game has already been won, why do you find that you always say yes when they ask you to play? Was it a matter of pride that made you keep it inside for so long? And when you finally spoke up and said it was wrong, were you wrong? And what did you do when you knew that you didn't belong? Or were you suddenly very aware that you knew all along? And when you're the only one who knows that the game has already been won, always so eager to try to impress, underprepared and a bit overdraft. Why do you find that you always say yes when they ask you to fucking play?
Come on.
Let's start over. Let's start over.
Yeah.
My goodness. Holy criminy.
There
We
you
were
go.
gonna do it like that. We decided not to. We
Yeah,
would've
yeah.
done-
You guys
Yeah.
must have lost weight doing that version of it.
Here's a fun factoid. I totally wasn't thinking, and I recorded the last chorus wrong, and Will came up with the different harmony, different vocal arrangement for that part.
It's
Remember Will?
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah, it was a total mind fuck because there was an extra beat there, so I had an extra syllable. So it's always good just to add fucking in there, 2 syllables. Yeah.
Yes.
It worked for Start Me Up. What I mean, come on. If the president has been set.
Yeah,
That
Will
is
said,
awesome.
thank you. Will said, oh, we're going to sing it like this. I'm like, hey, man, that sounds a little more punk rock and gives it a little edge. So credit
Yeah.
to Will for coming up with that
Oh,
last minute
I mean,
vocal arrangement.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much butt kissing that needs to happen, but we've got plenty of time for that. That is just unbelievable.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I love the dynamics that you guys built into it. The fact that you started off pretty aggressive, but then you have the stop verse and you kind of go back to starting over again, and then that reggae drum break in the middle is just epic. I mean, it's like it's Police mixed with the Clash mixed with whoever else you want to talk about, but it's awesome. And that middle, that reggae break just gets me every time.
Right
That's
on.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's funny you say the Police, because that's who I had in mind, or Stuart Copeland had in mind when I was doing that beat. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the best
And-
drummers on the planet, right?
and Matt
That guy
just
is
killed it.
amazing. Yeah.
I
Totally.
mean, the bass line in that portion it's just godly. I mean,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
it sells it. I mean, there's a lot of things like that's okay, that's different. It's like, God damn it, that's better. We should have done that. I mean, it's so right.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Is there even a bass line in your guys' version, or is it just following what the guitars do? Is
It's
there a
pretty
separate-
much following what the guitars do. Our good friend Daniel Keller played bass on that one, and there's a couple places where he had a couple little passing lines, but nothing like what Matt did. I mean, there's places for the most part our bass line just kind of follows the tonics, just kind of set it in there. But he's going up to the fifth, and he's kind of hammering up there, and then he's kind of circling back down. I mean, it is a squirrely, aggressive bass line, and it's just unreal.
Yeah.
And the way he plays, it's not so much what you play, it's what you don't play. Like it's kind of cool how he gaps it out. It sounds cool.
That's
Yeah.
what got me. I mean, it's kind of funny. I've heard a lot of your playing. There's so much on the tune where you're not playing, and the surgical cuts where it
Yes.
goes, like as Scott was saying, where it goes from everything is like just to nothing. It's knee jerk, but it's just fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
how did you guys talk about kind of the style you wanted, or how did you guys come up with what you did? And did you have other ideas that you thought you might want to try and do as far as styles or whatever? How did it come about?
The first time we jammed together in person at my studio, we just kind of did it the way you guys do it, the original, a very mellow. I was doing rim shots on the snare, and
That's the hardest rocket tune I've ever sang of one of ours. It's not mellow to me. I was giving all I got, and it's mellow to you. Just makes me feel about that big right now. But
yeah. So the first time we went through it, we were doing it in your guys' style, more or less, with my brother jamming with us as well to show for the chord changes. But Ted did some demos, and they were definitely more upbeat. And I just immediately thought of just like kind of like a punk rocky vibe, 16th notes on the hi-hat and just keeping it upbeat. And that's how it came together.
it's just beautiful.
Yeah, man. And we'll use that powerful drum with that acrylic pearl that you had.
Yeah. Pearl crystal beat drums. I
And
love
that's
it.
the tangerine glass, right?
Yeah, they're based off the John Bonham Ludwig kit.
Damn right they are.
Yeah.
It's a nice looking kit.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was great.
it was a fun song to do, and I mean, if you're gonna look at the positive light from this whole pandemic, it for me and Will, it kind of felt like we reconnected a little bit, trying to revisit the younger years of when we were in his garage and just playing music for fun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with no pressure, and it was funny. We were just laughing as we were going through it like we were little kids, so it felt good to reconnect again on that level instead
Fantastic.
of
I
this
tell you.
whole like touring, we got to do this, everything's so structured. There's nothing wrong with that, we love it, but just having to go down to a studio and just hang out, shoot the shit, and just press record and have a good time.
It's great.
And also playing stuff out of our normal wheelhouse, out of our comfort zone is really, really cool. It kind of expands your horizons a little bit. So it felt good.
Yeah, it felt really good. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I hope all the Alive and streamers enjoyed that one.
Yes.
It's different, but again, music's all about fun, and we should always have fun with music.
Absolutely.
Well,
Ted, did you think about doing like a face melting solo anywhere in there? Because I was kind of hoping that there would be something there about that. No.
No, I was thinking about doing I had something for a pass in the middle section, but then it might get in the way of what Matt's playing. It was just a nice, quick, let's get to it type of song. So, I mean, I had something, I listened to it, I go, oh, no, it doesn't seem right, because, there's that little clean part, Will's doing like some police stuff, and Matt's doing stuff. It's just adding too much. Let the music breathe a little.
But Matt's melody in that section is so strong. I mean, why would you possibly cover that up? It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? Let's just
Yeah.
leave it the way it is. And the video, I have to thank my wife Trisha for it. The one great thing about that video is the girl in the bathtub.
Yes.
I am so old. I've been married so long. I watched that, and there's this gorgeous girl in this bathtub full of blood. I'm like, oh, she's gonna ruin the towels.
I thought it was great, man. But so there you go. Now to switch it up here, you guys are. I mean, I'm into your style of music. I always like that poppy 80s stuff, and you guys write some good stuff. I mean, you guys live separately. Eric, you're in the Bay Area.
Yep.
I mean, Eric, you're in the Bay Area. Scott, you're in Canada. So how do you guys write? Like me and Will got together and write, but you guys can't.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, I mean, Scott can tell the story. A lot of times, one of us will start with something, and it'll be, you know, a guitar and a scratch vocal and a chord chart, and then something goes on Dropbox, and then we'll get together on Skype over a beer and just kind of shoot the breeze for a while and say, you know, oh yeah, that one, if my toes tapping, I got some ideas, send me the project. But it's a lot of just kind of assembly. It almost feels like sometimes it's more sculpture than playing through. I mean, I'm very curious to hear that you guys played it all the way through. I don't think I've ever played that song all the way through.
No.
I think it was like, you know, write the verse, copy it over here, add this little thing. I mean, it kind of becomes as it is. You know, we very rarely will write the entire tune, and we'll often record 4,000 more tracks than we need and then pull stuff back.
Gotcha. Yeah, you guys do it remotely. Actually, with me and Will, we went to his studio. He helped me. We set up the mics together.
Yep.
And there wasn't like, Will did a few passes, but that version he did, it was a one take thing. After a few tries, Will nailed it on the last take. I go, that's it.
Yeah.
It was on the click too. So
Yeah.
And the drum tones you got are phenomenal. What kind of rig you use for that?
you know what? I had a Porta Studio. I had a Tascam Porta Studio, the DP24. It's 24 tracks, and I had these Tascam mics, and you know, just set it up. I had a mic on the kick, a mic on the snare, one overhead, a mic on Will's two front toms and his two floor toms, and I thought the drums came out pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
No, it's
like
just awesome.
something.
And I mean, we, you know, Ted, you and I met when I was doing the marketing for Tascam, but it's interesting that there's a resurgence of people who want to be able to just pick up something that's that big, put it in the car and go record. I mean, everybody just thinks you record on a computer these days, but it's kind of nice just to have something that's and you've been a Porta Studio guy since the late 1800s.
Yeah, I mean, going back to like when Will said it reminded us of recording our first armament demo, that was recorded on his brother Mike's Tascam 4-track. Yeah, it was recorded on that. So I go back to Tascam since when I first started with Will back in 87, 88. So I've been a fan of theirs. So yeah, it is really cool to have some portable studio. I just bring it to Will's studio, just plug in the XLRs, turn it on, hit record, get the levels, just take it home.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's on Pro Tools. Don't get me wrong. That's a great thing to use, but
Phenomenal.
I don't want to bring a computer. I mean, Will was recorded with Pro Tools with Rob, and it's an elaborate setup at the Death Angel studio.
Yeah, it's time consuming a little bit, even though it's, you know, it's supposed to save time because everything's provided there for you on the computer. But just setting it up between tracks and between things, it's like, like hold on, I gotta reset this. But with the Tascam portable studio, it was a lot quicker, and I could get right to it, you know, from take to take. So I definitely liked it. Thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Did you mix on that hardware? Did you go back into a computer to mix, or was that? I mean, who did the production? I recorded and produced the whole thing. I mixed it on the Tascam DP24. It just brought me back to, you know, being a mad scientist on this thing and just going at it. And I sent a few mixes to Will here and there. I go, what do you think? And he was like, sounds good, this and that. And I go, the drums could be a little louder, because I don't want to be that guy that pushes the guitars. And, you know, I just wanted it to mix really well. But yeah, the Tascam Porta Studio worked great. And, you know, I'm looking forward to doing more stuff like this down the road. So, you got my number. I mean,
yeah.
we're ready to play along. So you let me know.
Yeah. So, but
yeah, songs to start in A and then go to D. I mean, we can do this all day long.
Yeah, we can do it all day long, and you know, we'll see what happens. So, me and Will had fun. I hope everyone dug the tune. I'm sure there'll be a few like, you know, like what was that? But you know, at the end of the day, I had fun. And Will had fun, right, Will? You had fun?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just hoping some news site doesn't take our song and say, new Death Angel single.
Yeah, someone's going to say, hey, there's a new Death Angel song. People are going to go, what the hell is that?
It is not that. But I think it definitely, I mean, one of the reasons that, our early conversations, I was always just amazed by the breadth of your musicianship. And the fact, I mean, that, you're just not a jazzer who only plays jazz or a rocker that only rocks. I mean, you guys are extraordinarily eclectic in your taste. I mean, professionally, you do what you do, but it's always been nice to kind of hang out and talk music because you guys, know all this stuff. I mean, God's sakes, Will knows who played drums on Billy Squires' Don't Say No, for fuck's sake. I mean, there's some pretty deep knowledge flowing in this group.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing. I mean personally talking from my end, I'm very fortunate to play with these guys because not only is their music style is so huge, the knowledge of music and the information behind it, and it just makes me. I discovered a lot of new music through these guys, and I'm very fortunate about that. And it's fun playing with them live. Just every time I'm on stage and I look back either at Will or I look across at Rob, I just have a good feeling that I'm jamming with my friends. It makes especially when we tour, it makes touring it makes it a lot easier to be away from home when you have some good bandmates with you and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
yeah,
That's awesome.
It comes across from being in the audience. You can just see it, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people. I'm sure Darren and Crystal and Tom and Claire are typing vigorously right now into the comments saying that they feel the same way. But the fans know that you guys enjoy each other's company, and it comes across on stage.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I've been jamming with Rob and Mark for I'm going this. Let me look at the calendar.
22 years, right? 22.
What?
22.
Come August 11th, it'll be 19 years.
Oh, 19.
Wow.
Okay.
19 years.
You
But
started when you were 6?
but I've been jamming with Will. I mean, I've known Will and I've been jamming with him since we were 15. But there was a gap in between where we went off and I went off and became, went into the corporate America world for a minute, and Will kept going with metal and music.
You know what, though, Ted? A minute in the corporate world is too friggin' much.
Will kept going, did Old Granddad, which was a really successful band in the Bay Area. And, then it came full circle. Then we started jamming again in Death Angel. So it's good. Question, Cracker Brothers, what's up next with you guys?
I don't know.
We're trying to finish our fifth CD. We've got most of it done. We've got 2 or 3 songs that we're trying to just finish from the production side, and and for us it's a hobby, right? We're just like working wonks in Silicon Valley, essentially, even though I'm in Toronto. But this is a hobby for us. We love it. Some people play golf, some people do whatever. We write songs and play and kind of hang out and just talk about how cool we are a lot. So
and you guys have made it easier to talk about that, because a lot of this has made us very much cooler than we were.
Oh yeah, we got lots of cred now, believe me.
You guys have the same? Do you guys use the same musicians for every recording? Same drummer, same bassist?
Yeah, us.
Oh,
well,
you
actually,
got it all.
I mean, we do. We've had recently. We've invited, we had a bunch of people play on our tunes, but typically it's just been me and Eric for the last 25 years, just writing and recording. And then now, Eric's got a great network of musicians that he's invited to play, and you guys obviously. So it's been a wonderful experience, but a lot of times it's just us. Yeah.
Which one of you two plays drums?
They're all. It's all MIDI
the computer
for the most part.
Oh wow! It's not.
So it's all kind of programmed note by note, and that actually was the thing that I've kind of been working on over the past year, because on our older stuff, the drum parts are 3-arm drummers. It started to occur to me that maybe I should play drum parts that actually can be played by a real person. So I started to kind of pay attention, well, no, you can't have the hi-hats playing straight 16ths and the snare and a crash cymbal.
Oh man, dude, I've worked with a lot of guitar players. Not anyone in Death Angel, but in the past, I've worked with guitarists who have sent me demos and they added their own drum machine part to it. I'm like, dude, I don't have 4 arms. I mean, what the fuck? That's impossible.
Yeah.
So I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean.
I mean, because sometimes you'll do it, but it's been that and kind of focusing on it. But we've really been able to work with a lot of people. A lot of it, were people I met when we're working at Tascam. But we're working with this young lady, Arisa Sato. She is a classical pianist that is one of the product directors in Japan for Tascam, doing all of the high-end DSD stuff. I mean, phenomenal. And she grew up playing classical piano, had never played rock and roll. So she plays piano on one of our tracks. We had George Hazelrig and Job Hazelrig, and they invited themselves to play, and we said, hell yeah. So they're playing piano and bass. A gentleman named Michael Hurwitz is playing drums on one of the tracks. Daniel Keller played bass on one of the tunes. A gentleman, Brian, a good buddy of mine out in New York, played drums on one of the tunes. So now, little by little, we're starting to invite folks in because everybody's kind of open to doing stuff outside of their genre. A good buddy of ours who decided to go under a pen name is a phenomenal guitar player, lives out in Arizona. He does a lot of work for video games, and he's just a great, great guitar player. Years ago, we asked him to play on one of the records, and we didn't want to play guitar because everybody asked him to play guitar on their stuff. It's like me asking Ted to play guitar. I'd love to have you guys play on one of our tunes, but I'm not going to ask Ted to play guitar. I'm going to find, okay, what's the new instrument you're playing? What do you play? What don't you do that you could do? And he was at the time, my buddy was working on learning a guitar viol, which is like a large violin with frets played with a bow. He says, geez, I'm just trying to practice this instrument. I said, great, that's what you play on this one.
Ted's working on the harmonica right now. You should have
Fantastic. I know Scott's been doing a lot of work on the upright organ lately.
But
Hey!
Hey, damn, man. You got to see.
I'm divorced. What can I say?
You got to see Will's bass playing skills.
Well, this is just what we need to know.
That's the Pussycat all the way.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that to me is where it's kind of fun. And I mean, I found out that, it's one thing to call today, hey, can you play guitar on this track? But everybody does. I mean, we want to do stuff that's different. We want to make sure it's always fun to play with people.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Hey, in the video, who's that band? Do you know who the band is, or is it just some random footage you found?
You want the story, Scott, or should I tell the story?
Why don't you do it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So recently, on Facebook and Twitter, some of Scott's old buddies have been posting all of this video from a televised telethon, because the best ones are, in Canada, right around 1986, I think.
That's what I was guessing around that time.
Yeah, right around there. The left-handed guitar player in that band is Scott.
Yeah.
So that was his band. He was in a band called Those Vindicators back in the 80s, and they were kind of a corporate kind of cover band. They were gigging everywhere. And what was the tagline?
Top 40 from the 50s and 60s.
Nice.
Yeah.
As opposed to now where it's waking up at 4:40 in your 50s and 60s.
Yeah, well, 2:40 actually, but anyway.
Exactly. So that one.
Covers or originals?
What's that?
Was it covers or originals?
It was all covers, and we did 50s and 60s covers, and we got hired by every single graduation, high school graduation, college graduation, company celebration, and we were the official band of Esso Canada, the gas station, and we would play all of their grand openings and customer appreciation days in Vancouver, because I lived in Vancouver for a number of years, and so we played around there for a year and a half, and we, back in the 80s, right, we're not making as much money as we do now, and we called ourselves the $100,000 band because as part-time jobs in the summer, because we all had regular jobs, we made $100,000 over a couple of years just playing these corporate gigs. So it was a lot of fun and pretty lucrative. But all good things come to an end. So those videos came to an end.
So all of this video started to surface from this one televised performance back in the 80s. I was just finishing up the shutdown had started. We had some time to kill. So they sent me all that footage that was transferred from a VHS tape like 30 years ago. It's all grainy and beat up. And I just wanted to see if I could do it. So it's like 4 or 5 songs. I took all of their original video, killed all their original audio, and just said, okay, that's where the guy hits a drum hit. This is where the guy looks like he's singing a T. This is where he looks like he's singing an S. And we just started to cut it all together to kind of fit. And then I took our track. I played the part of the announcer in the beginning. And then I wanted to make sure that we could then go through and add all the crowd noises and all of that kind of nonsense. And it was just a stupid little project to see if we could do it. But it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, it did. It was synced up pretty well. Who came up with the matching outfits?
That was something, actually. That was when we started the band, right? I mean, 50s and 60s bands did that, right? They were all decked out, right? Our signature was we had a different color tie and different color socks, right? So that's how we differentiated each other. But that was a couple of people that just followed us around as we were playing, and they said, "Hey, we think you guys should have a look." And so these two girls that we kind of got to know, put together the suits. They actually created and made the suits that we were wearing and everything else. So it was pretty cool, and it was a lot of fun. But it was just when, that was the 80s, and it was just when playing 50s and 60s stuff was cool again, right? And so we rode that wave, and like I said, we played all sorts of graduations, corporate parties, and everything else, and it was just a lot of fun, definitely.
Well, it was definitely a look.
Yeah.
Well, if we see you guys on the road next year in teal jackets and white pants, you're going to hear from Scott's lawyer.
That's right. I want to check.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to a couple of questions here. Some guy or some person. I'm not gonna say guy because I could be wrong. Simon. I don't know where he's from. What kind of whiskey do you actually drink, Scott?
Can you see that?
No, can't. What is it? Oh,
Glenlivet.
It's the Glenlivet, baby.
Wow.
What time
Glenn
is it?
Kimball.
Yeah.
What time is it in Toronto?
It is drinking time.
Wow. Okay.
No, it's 3:30 now, so it's afternoon. This is rock and roll, so I figured Scotch was appropriate.
All right.
That's good.
All right, Will, we got a bunch of questions from multiple people. Are we planning to do more covers?
I'd like to. I love doing covers, and it was a fun experience. And yeah, I would love to do some more.
Great, we got about 40 tunes, so
yeah, man.
You could do 5 albums with these tunes. Come on.
Totally. Yeah, I'm game if Ted is.
Yeah, Will, out of curiosity, what's the cover you would like to do?
Oh wow!
I mean, don't pick one, but I'm sure there's a plethora of in your head.
Oh my God! I'd like to do some Gary Newman songs.
Whoa!
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and not put a metal spin on him either, like he does nowadays. Seeing him
okay.
nowadays is pretty disappointing. Just because he's playing guitar and he's jumping around, and I want to see the robot guy, and just nothing but keyboards. So I'd like to do a Gary Newman song or two with keyboards and try to keep it true to the original. Yeah.
You're singing it. You have a Gary Newman voice. You can have that Gary Newman.
Be awesome.
So, who knows? This thing kind of opened up, and with the shutdown nowadays, everyone's doing collab, and I'm kind of glad me and Will went a different direction of this collab.
It's
so
great.
it was fun. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I'd love to do a Gary Newman tune, and Gary Newman's always blasting on tour anyway when we're on the road.
Yeah.
Will's phone's like not either Gary Newman, The Who, and whatnot, but that's a good idea, Gary Newman.
Or
Love
Adam Ant. I'd like to do an Adam Ant song too. Lots of drumming going on, so that'd be fun to try to recreate the chorus of drums he has on his songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I like to do some hair metal stuff, but let's do the Gary Newman stuff.
That would
first.
be cool too.
I would love to hear Will play the drum part to You Took the Words Right Out of My Mouth out of Bat Out of Hell.
Huh.
I think that would be just epic.
Oh yeah, he could do that too. Yeah. Hey, how about you guys? Have you guys done covers in your stuff?
We really had never done a ton of covers. That's why it was such an interesting challenge to do Lost, because we never really bothered to do covers. Our thinking was always write a song and write something like we've never written before. I mean, our goal was always to never do it again. So when we lost, it was just like, okay, let's do this and go. And it was a really interesting experience because we didn't have to have the drama and the panic and the connection and the ego that you get from being the songwriter. You can just play. And all we cared about with Lost is, does it feel right and does it sound good? We didn't have all the baggage with the song we wrote. So it's kind of cool. So I think we might play some more covers.
Well, we've done a couple though, Eric. We've done Frankenstein, and when we first started recording, and this was back in 90 something, we did Across the Universe. Remember?
Oh yeah, that was
the Beatles tune. So we've done, and you know what? Frankenstein, Edgar Winter Group. A lot of people think that's a synthesizer song. That is a guitar song, like through and through. There is so much guitar on that. I worked for weeks trying to figure out what they were doing. But that is a guitar tune, and it is awesome.
I forgot about that.
Did you guys include the drum solo or the all the drum parts and stuff?
We didn't know you at that point, Will, so we couldn't.
we ended up cutting that out, but we did go into the filter fall. We did go back to that one.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but just a couple of covers.
If you guys ever want to take on that one, let me know, and I'll help to mix. And I got a synthesizer here. We can make that one happen.
It's a pretty long song too. I mean, the unedited version is like
6 weeks long.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Took me 18 months to learn that 6 weeks.
Here's a fan question from Thomas. Do you prefer when people do covers note for note, or they do their own take on it?
Eric?
I prefer.
Sorry.
I prefer when someone puts their own flavor on it. What's the point of doing a cover if you're just gonna try to like emulate the original version, like note for note, and it can never be as good as the original. So why try? So you should try to put your own spin on it. That's my take, at least. Yeah.
I mean,
I feel the same way. I mean, to me, it's just like, do something different. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Twist and Shout is a Beatles song because they did their version of it.
Yeah, but there's some versions where you kind of have to stick to the original in a way,
Well, yeah, I mean, like if you're gonna like Death Angel, before I joined the band, they did Trapped Under Ice, and that was pretty close to the original because it's a thrash song. And if people want to hear a thrash song, you got to do a thrash version of it. But it still sounded like Death Angel, and there was a few differences in their version, and that's cool. It was just enough. It was just enough difference in it that it made it cool, but it was still thrash. So
I think there's two ways you approach it, right? And Eric and I had these discussions, when we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with Lost, right? Is you either do it note for note and try and do it exactly the way the original is, or you go completely left field and do something else. And we opted obviously to do something else, right? Because if you want to cover something, either you're going to cover it the way it was originally done and it's got to be really good, or you got to go a complete different direction, and make it your own. And so we decided to go that version.
David Bowie was really great at doing cover tunes. Like his covers album Pinups, very interesting takes on songs. Like See Emily Play by Pink Floyd. That's a really cool version he did. I prefer his version.
His version of Across the Universe is better than the Beatles version.
Oh,
wow! That's Eric is one of the biggest Beatles fan on the planet. So if he says that,
it's so good. I mean, it's just pulling emotionally out of the molasses. I mean, it is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying your version of.
No.
Now I want to get to. I might switch things up here real quick. Will, you have a radio show on Gimme Radio called Full Metal Jacket, and you do a lot of
great
metal, which is on every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard. Just download the Gimme Radio app and check it out. It's a really cool radio show.
Yep.
I have a question since we're talking about like eclectic musical styles here. you do rock and metal. Are you planning to do anything? Have you done anything like new wave or anything different from the norm that you normally do?
I would love to include like Gary Newman for instance, or some bizarre ultra vox song or something. But when I hear other DJs do it on their show, it's just so out of context, and it gets such a negative reaction from the listeners that I'm not going there. I'm going to stick with the metal and the rock.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about your radio show, and like I said, we're talking music here. You're not the normal radio show. I'm not going to mention names because you don't want it to come back on you. That just plays the hits. You play some deep cuts, and you do have a story behind it, which is really good. Most radio station plays the hits, and they don't even have anything to talk about. But you go in depth with your stuff, which is cool.
That's the great thing about Gimme Radio. They give you complete freedom, 100% freedom for picking the songs you play and what you want to talk about. And I do a lot of themes on my show.
I noticed.
Almost every show has a theme. Like for example, this coming Monday is good versus evil. So every other song is either holy or unholy in the title. So yeah, I just do a lot of wordplay, and I have fun with it. And I mean, my ideas just keep coming and coming. I have at least 40 shows in the can already put together. Not recorded, but the playlists and the theme and the concepts are already put together. So I'm covered for the rest of the year almost. Or yeah, I am covered for the rest of the year.
I'm just curious. Is it hard to come up with a theme?
Not at all, man. I'll be watching a movie and I'll think, the movie's about superheroes. I'll be like, I haven't done a show about superheroes, and it's hard to put the songs together because I have to find 23 or 24 songs about superheroes, and in heavy metal that's really hard. So but if I'm just listening to a song and the song title contains a really metal word like slaughter, like last month I did a song with 24 songs with slaughter in the title, which is kind of hard actually, but I was able to dig up 24 death metal songs with the word slaughter, or thrash metal song. So yeah, I usually focus on a word, usually like a word like kill or just something very metal, and it comes pretty easily, and it's a lot of fun. I have a blast putting my playlist together, and just coming up with stories and background information on each song. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love it. I love doing it.
Great show.
Yeah. What was the hardest theme?
Oh man, I did a show early on where every song had evil in the title, and I ended up having to do a part 3 and part 4 because there were so many songs with evil in the title. But one of the listeners called me out and said, "I dare you to put a show together with every song with good in the title and keep it heavy, metal and rock." That was a really hard show to find 25 or 24 metal songs with good in the title.
Yeah.
I did it. I pulled it off. It was hard though.
That's awesome. Well, all you live and streamers, please check out Will Carroll's radio show, Full Metal Jacket, on Gimme Radio every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to gimmeradio.com, download the app. It's a fun listen. You'll hear stuff that you never thought from a band. I mean, I'll just give a little example. For to say Metallica, you'll hear like Enter Sandman on the radio, but if Will plays Metallica, he'll play like The Shortest Straw.
Yeah, exactly.
And he'll give you a backstory on that, and he'll probably tell you who recorded, where it was recorded, probably Cherokee Studios or something like that. But, it's a really cool listen. And everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed our version of the Cracker Brothers tune, The Only One. And if all of you guys want to check out some of their originals, go to crackerbrothers.com. They have some really cool stuff. And me and Will had fun. Eric and Scott, I hope you enjoyed. I hope everyone out there enjoyed. I had a good time.
I had a great time. It was the best birthday I've ever had. It's my 60th today.
Holy moly, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's why you look so old in that video. No, I'm just kidding.
And now it's the beard, right?
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
Happy
Hey, thanks
birthday,
everybody.
man.
This has been one of the best birthdays I've ever had. Believe me,
Right
seriously.
on.
Thank you
Right
so
on.
much for everything, guys. It was
No,
epic.
No.
Really was.
This whole
It
thing
was
has just
fun.
been a blast. And, all I could tell is, all I can say is, for the folks out there watching, the fans, these folks are the real deal.
Yeah.
If you dig what they're doing, tell them, make something, draw something, record something, sing something, do a dance, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
these folks are in it for the art. So connect. I mean, who knows? I mean, we have no business being here, and I'm loving every second of this. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
No kidding.
do something. These are nice people to play with. So hop in
Yep.
and play. Life's too short to be shy and
It is. And
Yep.
I've discovered a lot of new music. My wife Trisha always has her Spotify on shuffle, and when I'm on the road, Will always has his stuff on shuffle, so I'm always discovering or rediscovering new things. So it feels good to check out new music. I'm stoked on it.
Yeah, the last time, like a couple weekends ago, my better half, Sean, and I went over to Ted and Trisha's place and barbecued. And yeah, Trish had her speakers on Spotify, and it was on shuffle. And one of the most random songs came on. I was like, what the hell is this? Sly Fox, Let's Go All the Way. Do you guys remember that song?
oh.
Wow.
Let's go all the way. Yeah.
I'm surprised you knew that song, Will. I was like, what the? Well, you have
I
Now
know it
that
from
would be a
Grand
cover.
Theft Auto 4, the video game Grand Theft Auto. Like when you're in a car, there's a you can select radio stations and listen to, and there was an 80s, like a bizarre one-hit wonders 80s station on that video game, and that song was on there every time I stole a car or killed a hooker, I was listening to that.
Well, good night, everybody.
Yeah. No. To end this episode on a fun and good note, maybe me and Will doing this and having to reconnect might bring out. We have this side project we've been always talking about. It's 11 years in the making, but we never had the time or do it. So maybe during this pandemic and doing this cover kind of inspired it. I'll let Will talk about it because it's really fun and interesting. He has a really cool concept. Will, I'll let you take it from here before we close out the episode.
Well, I always wanted to do a death metal band called Fresh Baby, because nothing's more disgusting in the world than a freshly born baby. They're just gross and just covered in blood and just spitting up and just so gross. So I thought a death metal band based on that concept would be really cool, and just have songs about birth instead of death, and how painful it is and how disgusting it is. So yeah, we have the time. Let's finally.
Yeah. Now we have the time, and this doing this cover kind of inspired. All right, we can still get together in your studio, social distancing, and get some cool stuff going, and
Yeah. I guess you'd call this band. You'd probably call this band Birth Angel, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Had to do it.
Fresh Baby would be the thing. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on. I hope you enjoyed the cover. Me and Will did. We had fun doing it. Like I always said, shout out to Jim Carroll for helping out, Jim Stern for mastering the audio, and Matt Freeman from Rancid laying down the killer bass.
Yes, Mr. Matt, come on.
And
It was awesome, guys. Epic. Thank you guys very much.
And my man Will Carroll for killing it after COVID.
Hey, thank you so much.
Way to go, Will. Way to go, guys. Ted, thank you very much. Will, thank you very much.
And all you live and streamers for watching, I hope you enjoy this episode. My next one I have planned is going to be awesome. So